I know I look glowy right now, but literally I just walked back from work and sweating so much, so hope it looks nice on camera. Hi guys, it's Cynthia. Welcome back to my channel. So today, as you can see from the title, I'm going to be doing a video all about internships, like general advice, as well as talking a little bit about my own experiences. I asked in my last video if you guys would be interested in something like that, just because I'm not quite sure the general like demographic slash like age group of the people, like of my audience pretty much. I'm a college student, so for me this stuff is very relevant, but in the comments, like, there are a pretty decent number of you guys who did want to see this, so hopefully it's helpful. I know it's probably gonna be lengthy, so I've broken it down into different sections, and I'll have like the little timestamps linked down below hopefully, so it'll be easier to go throughout the video without being like, oh my god, when is the next time she's gonna talk about whatever. So hopefully that makes it easier for you guys. Yeah, so without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so just to start, I'm gonna give a little intro about myself, some background information so you know like where I'm coming from. I'm a rising senior at the University of Maryland College Park, so I'm gonna be a senior in this upcoming fall, and I'm majoring in marketing and supply chain management, and those two majors are part of the business school at UMD, but I'm definitely more focused on marketing and design. Your girl's just not that into like trucks and logistics, so yeah. And just like a quick disclaimer before I get into like advice and stuff is that when it comes down to it, I can only really speak from my own experience as well as like the industries that I'm familiar with. So not everything will be applicable to all majors, but I hope that you guys can take away something. So to start, I guess for those of you who don't know what an internship is, pretty much it's just an opportunity to work kind of like as a temporary employee at a company. You can intern year round. I think the most common intern season is summer, obviously just because everyone's on their break, and then students are looking to get more experience in the fields that they're studying and everything like that. So think of it as kind of like a full-time like employee lifestyle, but then just for like a short period of time. And then as for why you should pursue an internship, well, to start, internships are really helpful for letting you figure out what it is that you like and what you don't like. A lot of times what you learn in school is not really an accurate portrayal of how you can like apply your major like in real life, like in the actual workforce. Like for example, I have some friends who like love accounting. Actually very few friends love accounting, but for the few friends that do love accounting, you know, a lot of times you go into the actual field of audit and then you're like, oh my god, like this sucks. No offense, unless you really love audit, that's fantastic. But yeah, like a lot of times you won't know that unless you're actually doing it. That's just an example, and a lot of times like you just don't know what you want to do, and by getting this kind of hands-on experience, it's really helpful for like kind of getting you onto the right track. One other really good thing about internships is that a lot of times they can actually lead into full-time job opportunities. For example, a lot of people, they end up getting job offers at the end of their summer internship right before senior year, and then they end up signing and then going to work there full-time after they graduate in the following spring. So that's just one other thing to keep in mind, but obviously you're not like tied to any company that you intern at. It's just like experience. And like I mentioned earlier, internships give you a really good opportunity to get like some hands-on experience, which ends up being like super helpful, and you can actually like leverage this experience to other jobs that you're interested in and stuff like that, because when it comes down to it, the more experience you have, the better. And I guess one other thing to keep in mind is that it's always like a really good networking opportunity. Chances are where you're interning, you're going to be interacting with like multiple people, and who knows, maybe later on down the line they could help you get into a job that they have experience with or into a different company, etc. And it's just always good to get that kind of exposure. All right, and then in terms of when you should start looking for an internship, in my personal opinion, it's never really too early. I had friends who were interning like even in high school, like during their summers. I did not personally. I was mostly taking classes or just like being a high schooler and just chilling during my summers. But again, getting more experience never really hurts. But one thing to keep in mind is that you're probably going to be a lot more employable as a college student, just because at that point you've probably already narrowed down what your major is, what kind of field you want to go into, maybe a better idea of positions that you'd like, and also like, again, you just have more experience from college and whatever. Yeah, just one thing to keep in mind, you're probably going to be able to get more internships as a college student than a high schooler if you're a high schooler watching. And I think that's totally fine. My only recommendation, I guess, for the high schoolers is just just like try and keep your summers productive, whether that be taking classes, working like a regular job, or like, I don't know, I had friends like teach English abroad. A lot of different things you can do. Just make sure you're spending your time wisely. I think that's always a good thing to keep in mind. And then one area where I feel like a lot of people struggle is that they don't really know where to be looking for internships exactly. I feel like there are a few different ways you can go about doing so. So one thing for me was that I literally just scoured the internet like last year. Like I literally was just obsessed with like looking on LinkedIn and Glassdoor at companies and positions that I'd be potentially interested in working at, even if they were like unrealistic options. Like it was really helpful, I think, to see kind of the job postings and see what kind of skills they're looking for. Just like read up on companies, learn about new companies I didn't know about, and like industries I was interested in. Like, I think you get my point, but just like do a lot of research and then just see what's out there just to get a better idea about like what you want to actually like apply for. I think one way you can get started with this is honestly just think of a few companies or brands that you really like and then look at their careers page, see what they're looking for, what kind of positions are available, what the company culture is, stuff like that. And then I mentioned LinkedIn earlier, but LinkedIn, as I'm sure a lot of you guys know, is a really good online resource to get in touch with other professionals or just learn more about, I don't know, the happenings of the professional world. But I definitely think you should take advantage of LinkedIn to network, whether that be just like reaching out to someone who might be interning or has a position that you're interested in at a company that you'd like to work at. It doesn't hurt to shoot like a very professional brief message, just asking for some more information about the position, stuff like that, just as long as you're like respectful and like whatnot. A lot of times like sending these kind of like cold emails or like cold messages, whatever, like, you know, you might not get a response back most of the time, but it never hurts. And I think more often than not, people are nicer than you think, and sometimes they do get back to you and you end up learning a lot more. I've personally had other people like message me before about certain positions that I've held in the past, and I mean, I always get back to people just because I think like, why not, you know? But yeah, definitely just take advantage of that platform. I know people have literally gotten jobs on LinkedIn. Like, definitely don't be afraid to use it. Just remember to stay professional. Okay, and then I remember when I first started college, and I'm in the business school, so then one of the first things they told us, and I don't really like this saying because it sounds kind of like but it's like, your network is your net worth, and I do not like that, but it's like kind of true. Honestly, it's about like who you know a lot of times, so it definitely doesn't hurt to evaluate your own network, like who are your friends, where are they working at, whatever, stuff like that. That actually can be really helpful because a lot of times like you might have a close friend working at a company you're interested in, like they could probably tell you more about what they do and the company itself, and also potentially give you a referral. But yeah, referral will oftentimes just expedite the whole application process and get you to an interview faster than if you did not have a referral. So that's something that definitely doesn't hurt. Look into that. And one other thing, especially for college students, is to just definitely take advantage and use your school's resources. And this could mean like career fairs, if there's like a career services office, professional clubs, there's like a strong alumni network, and just things like that. While going to these things might not like guarantee that you get a job or anything like that, by no means, it definitely gives you a lot of exposure to recruiters and then just people who are knowledgeable about the company. And if you can like make good connections with these people, then like they might be able to help you along the process down the line if that's a company or position that you choose to pursue. And when you're actually in like recruiting season, when you're applying for all these different internships and jobs, I think it's definitely a good idea to keep track of your progress. Just kind of have some kind of system going where you're writing down like the company, position, I don't like date you applied, location of the position, the status, stuff like that, whatever you feel like is relevant. I personally did that. I kept an Excel sheet throughout like my whole recruiting process just to kind of see where I was going. And you know, sometimes it could be a little bit discouraging because I would just highlight the row whenever I got rejected, or like I was basically rejected. I like never heard back for months, and then oh my god, by the end of it, it was like so red. But you know, like your girl's employed right now, so it's fine. So yeah, you can't get discouraged by like seeing all that, but it's definitely a good idea to keep track of what you've done already, because that way you know like which ones you can like kind of stop caring about, and then which ones you might want to follow up on, stuff like that. And like I said, I'm just gonna be real, you might get a lot of rejections. I know for me personally, this past school year, I think I applied for maybe 40 to 50 positions at like 40 to 50 different companies, and it was a lot of work. Yes, it was time consuming, but at the same time it was like super worth it. Now the only thing is, like, out of like those 40 to 50, I literally only heard back positively from like 3 companies. Yeah, I know that like ratio is super unfortunate. It's just kind of like I just got used to like the rejections, did not take it too personally, and just got to move on from there, because as devastating as it is to get rejected by your dream companies, you just got to keep going. Sometimes like things just aren't meant to be, and everything's a learning experience, so just try and like view it in a positive light. So those are my general tips and advice for finding an internship and just kind of the whole internship application process. I know I didn't go like super in depth with every single part just because I feel like there's just so much content. I hope it was helpful. I know some of it might be obvious, but doesn't hurt to get that reminder. So now I'm just gonna talk a little bit about my own personal internship experiences in case you guys are curious. So I guess for me, my goal from all the internships that I've done and just work experience is that I just want to be a really well-rounded individual, and then also it'd be nice to be employed after college. But yeah, so like I mentioned earlier, in high school I did not do any internships or anything like that. I worked at like a lab the summer after I graduated, but it was not like, it's not relevant to anything that I actually want to do. And then honestly, a lot of people don't do internships right after freshman year of college. That's like totally normal. Like I said, I think you should just enjoy that summer. For me, I took classes, which was not that enjoyable, but you know, like, hey, that's chill. Like, I feel like I was making good use of my time so I could get more ahead during the actual school year. But while I was taking classes, I was also a content creator for the Odyssey online. I don't know if you guys have heard of it or anything like that, but basically it's students themselves who write articles like that are kind of similar to BuzzFeed style. I was writing for them because I just wanted to make sure I was still getting experience even though I wasn't like actively working a 9-to-5 job or something that summer, but I thought it was helpful and I like to write, so. And then last summer, I worked at a cosmetics company. So I was actually working at Koki Cosmetics. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. Tati and Kathleen Lights have made videos on some of Koki's products. But yeah, so I was actually working at Koki, and that was a really great experience for me. I actually found this opportunity through networking. Like I mentioned, I realized I knew someone who knew somebody, and I was able to kind of like finesse that. But honestly, it was such a good experience for me, better than anything I could have like expected or imagined. And I think that's another thing, like go in without having like crazy expectations. You might be blown away with like the kind of experience you get, the people you meet, everything like that. I ended up having the opportunity to run like their Instagram, as well as go travel to like Ipsy Gen Beauty in San Francisco, as well as like BeautyCon LA, things like I never would have had the opportunity to do otherwise, honestly. But it was like really cool to just kind of see the inner workings of like a startup style company, and just like see it, like, I don't know, like gain traction online. And yeah, really great experience, met some fantastic people, and super grateful for everything that was there. So I was just working as like a digital marketing and PR intern, so like I said, a lot of social media, everything like that. And while I was working at Koki, I was also doing like a little side gig. I was working as like a copywriting intern kind of thing. Like it was like a contracted role, but basically I would be writing articles for different companies. And again, I just wanted to keep building my experience, got a little bit lost in the sauce, but I also like to write, like I mentioned earlier. So definitely was also a good experience to have on the side. And then during the school year, I worked as a data entry kind of person, or like database administrator, whatever you want to call it, on campus. And that was really good experience for me as well, because it wasn't like crazy hard. It was during the school year, I worked part-time, but it definitely gave me some more technical skills that I was able to like learn more about, and then kind of like use it in my interviews and on my resume. So that was pretty cool. And then during the school year, I also worked as a brand ambassador for Amazon Prime Student. That was something also through networking I heard about. Like I'd heard about it online, but then my roommate was already involved with the program, and like after learning more about it from her, I was able to apply, and I luckily got it. So yeah, I was working as a brand ambassador for the second half of the school year, and I was able to tie that in with a lot of the marketing positions that I wanted. Then, like I said, I got rejected from so many companies. Honestly, great experience. Like yeah, it was kind of rough at times seeing like all my friends like signing their offers for whatever, and I'm out here still applying for things, and I'm like, oh my god. but it's all paid off. So this summer, like I said, I'm working in Austin, and I'm actually working at Visa as a program manager intern, which is PM for those of you who are familiar with the lingo. But yeah, so far it's been a fantastic experience. I've always wanted to like get the experience of working at a big company, especially after I already worked at a smaller company last summer. I've met some great people. I have a fantastic manager, and I get the opportunity to travel, and yeah, it's been really great so far. I'm honestly just so like grateful for the opportunity. Yeah, and I'm about a month in, but I'm excited to see how the rest of the summer pans out. But yeah, I think that's all for this video. I hope that you found some of this information helpful. I know I probably glazed over something, so feel free to leave any questions down in the comments, or if you have your own advice that you'd want to share, feel free to leave it down there as well. We can turn the comment section into like I don't know, like a positive, informative space, something like that. If you guys like this video, please subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And before I forget, I just want to thank everyone so much for helping me hit 2,000. It's actually wild to me that there are 2,000 of y'all out there who are watching my videos, and I really appreciate it so much, more than you guys know. But yeah, I just want to get that out there. Bye.